Hello, my name is Omar Rampersad. It is March 27, 2018 at 11:22 a.m. in Toronto. So I'm just going to confirm that the tweets I tweeted on ROSHINI 911 this morning, these are all mine. I tweeted some videos about the contractors outside my window who called a constable's name, a detective's name, um, and uh, um, and talked about other things as well. If you listen to the tape, if you listen to the conversations in the video, you will hear for yourself what they were talking about. So these conversations, this is only a small sample. It gets really bad sometimes, really nasty comments about women, a lot of swearing, talk about prostitution, sex slaves, and so on. So, and targets. The comment, "You are a target, she is a target," is constantly repeated. This is what we do to targets, constantly repeated. So again, those are my tweets. I tweet those videos because these are very scary comments outside my window that I reported to the management, and I will send a link to that video that I posted this morning to management. I sent the one yesterday as well. Um, so I talked about a sex slave operation that is being run through the flagging system. So let me just recap what I said in those tweets. And this is from my observation. A long time ago, years ago, I started noticing that I was being stalked because I was very, very busy. I was in school at U of T and working full time. Um, I dismissed it in my thoughts. I thought this was just coincidence. However, as time went by, it escalated. And between contracts, I was home for a while, and I noticed even more stalking. So I reported this to the police, and the police said to me that I'm mentally ill, delusions of grandeur, and paranoia. So I started taking videos. I even sent some videos to the cops. I got no response via email. Um, so the stalking escalated, and it's still going on, very much so. The stalking and the monitoring as a result of being flagged. So the flagging is a result of people calling the cops all the time and saying that I'm doing things that I didn't do, deliberately lying, and causing the flag to go into the system. So once I'm flagged, then the police monitors me. I came to understand during these years that the monitoring is outsourced, and anybody, any citizen, can go and take me out of the system and claim that they know me and they're going to monitor me while I'm in that environment. So the environment then is the workplace. So in the last four jobs that I had, there's a pattern that developed that I observed. So I'm going to describe the pattern. Um, there is conversations outside the window about being reseeded, 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 as a new seed. And the name is not called before I get the job interview. However, this conversation takes place outside the window by patrons and the loading dock workers, and just about anybody who visits the loading dock. And so this takes place prior to the job interview. So then I get a job interview, and this person will make certain comments that is consistent with the ones that I hear outside my window, and will offer me the job. Now I want to work, so I do work. I do accept the offer, and I start working. So once I start working, there are some things that I observe happens. There is one or two people in the work environment who start talking about um, sex slaves, effing whores, prostitute. We're gonna F her tonight. I can see you. I take you home with me. You're a slave. You got to do exactly what I tell you to do. And these are conversations that are held around me on phones with people, clients that this person who is doing the talking is talking to his clients. And I also hear that people take turns in the work environment. So in the last four work environments, what I have concluded has happened based on all these comments and all this harassment that's going on is that the employer who's offering me the job is logged in meaning that he's given a password to see me inside my home and to gerbil me samples. He gets samples and he looks at me for a while, weeks, months, could be. And then he decides that he's going to offer me the job, and he does, and I take it. Then the gerbling continues in the workplace, which means that everybody takes a turn to gerbil, seeing you share naked, including the bathroom. And there is external system that's set up where you can be hit with some remote technology that will cause you pain. Lasers, microwaves, ultrasonic. I don't know exactly what the technology is. I'm suspecting very strongly lasers. So this person who puts their name on the account and is passing you around, so people take turn, coworkers, to discipline you via this external system. So this is what's going on, I suspect. So the cover for this then is the flagging and the monitoring in the workplace without disclosure. None of this, keep in mind, none of this has ever been disclosed to me. There is a community file that is being submitted to the police, I suspect, on a consistent basis for the last 10 years. And people are piggybacking on this file because the file, the contents of this report is being made available to the public. In other words, I'm being defamed, which shows in the harassment. The result of that report being made public is the harassment that I experienced, which I talk about, and is in the workplace as well. So let's get back to the workplace. So what happens then, the pattern is everyone takes a turn to discipline you and try to tell you what to do, basically be a mentor, quote unquote, because you're supposed to, this person is supposed to befriend you and try to tell you what to do. And everybody takes a turn and discipline you when you don't do as they tell you to do. So then the report then is generated. A report is generated from the workplace, which is submitted to this team, the community team, which then is submitted to the police. So if, for instance, somebody in the workplace is saying, well, I think she's stalking me. Everywhere I go, she's behind me. With lies, out and out lies. Or she stole something. And this is reported time and time again. Then you're flagged for it and you're monitored. And so this is progressively criminalizing you. Keep in mind that the employer, the coworkers never confront me with these allegations, these suspicions, ever. But they tell the police. And also, the underpinning of all of this is that I'm mentally ill. So there is no diagnosis of mental illness. So obviously, I'm not mentally ill. And if I could do an analysis like this without any notes, without any rehearsal, obviously there is no mental illness. I didn't rehearse this. I didn't make any notes about what I was going to say. So there is no mental illness here. There never has been mental illness. There is only the effects of being harassed. There is no mental illness, which is something that I'm dealing with on an ongoing basis. So then let's get back again to these reports that's generated in the workplace and submitted to the police, I'm suspecting, and then I get flagged. And there is a flag from that workplace that continues um, in the system. And because of the flag, another monitoring period, another lease, quote unquote, is given. So 1 year lease, let's monitor for a year, 2 years, 5 years. And then that lease is then subcontracted to other people. So if I were to leave that job, so what happened in the last 4 jobs, this is what happened, I suspect, this process. Then they fired me, they dismissed me, they trumped up some reason, you're not a fit, whatever, within 8 days, for instance, and you can go now. Meanwhile, they're holding on to this contract to surveil because I'm flagged, and they're using the password that the criminal elements in this program is providing. This password to log into me and to gerbil me. In other words, remote rape. So the people who are flagging me without confronting me with any suspicions are taking part in this criminal activity of remote rape. So they're logging into me and gerbling me at night as I sleep, or they're torturing me with the same technologies that's being used to gerbil, lasers, microwaves, whatever, ultrasonic technologies, very, very sophisticated technologies that are available with people who has money. That's available to people who has money. So this is the cover. The flagging, the monitoring is a cover for this criminal activity, which is really a remote rape ring and a sex slave operation, because flagging puts you in a compromised situation. So the monitor then is in a situation, in a position, excuse me, of power over you, and they let you know it too. They harass you, they abuse you, and then the comment is, "Well, we get to piggyback and we can call the cops on you," which they do. So I believe this has been done in the last 4 jobs that I've had. So a cover for sex slave, to put into place a sex slave uh, level, for lack of a better word, to subjugate certain people and force them into opening their legs at night, or else you don't get a job because we're going to put you in prison or have you mentally committed. Open your legs to be gerbiled, in other words. In the last 4 jobs, this is exactly what's happened, I suspect. The people in these last 4 companies that I worked for should be investigated for remote rape, should be investigated for conspiracy to mentally commit, should be investigated for conspiracy to have me criminalized by putting false charges on the books, and colluding with the people who are responsible for putting charges on the books to have me artificially criminalized. There should be an investigation about this. Talk to you another time.